Hello guys and welcome back to Reading Club. So today I'm going to read you Daisy and the Trouble with Sports Day, Chapter 17 and Chapter 18. Chapter 17. When I got up this morning, all I could think about was winning my race for Gabby. The new sports chewing gum Jack had given me was hidden under my pillow. It was quite a funny looking packet. In fact, it didn't have any writing on it at all. Jack said his dad had got a whole box straight from the chewing gum factory before the writing had even been printed on it, which meant it was the freshest type of chewing gum you could get. All I had to do now was chew it. The trouble with eating chewing gum for breakfast is it's really difficult, especially if you've got to eat 2 Weetabixes first. The trouble with Weetabixes is they are quite mushy in your mouth, especially if you have them with lots of milk. I wasn't sure what would happen if I mixed the mush of my Weetabixes up with the chew of my chewing gums, so I decided to do my chews after I got dressed. Because it was sports day, we didn't have to wear our uniforms to school this morning. We were allowed to wear our PE kit instead. So once I'd done up my trainers and put my Tagliatelle PE top on, I locked the bathroom door, cleaned my teeth as quickly as I could, and then put all 8 pieces into my mouth at once. The trouble with putting 8 pieces of chewing gum into your mouth all at once is it makes it really hard to chew. And it makes your eyes water. At first, it felt like I was chewing lolly sticks, but after a while, the chewing gum pieces started to go softer. By the time I left for school with Mom, I got my chewing gum really chewy. Plus, I could feel some of the chewing gum super turbo powers building up in my dribble and then moving down into my legs. When we got to the school gates, things got even more exciting because all of the children in my year had their PE kits on. It looked like they were definitely going for gold. Plus, there was a massive queue of parents outside the school gates waiting to come in and watch. When my mom went to queue up with all the parents, I hid behind the oak tree outside our school gates and chewed and chewed and chewed as much of the turbo power out of my chewing gum as I could. Trouble is, then the school bell rang, so I had to stop because you're not allowed chewing gum in school. The trouble with having to stop is I was sure there was some super turbo power still left inside my gum, so I stayed behind the tree and kept on chewing. When Jack Beatrice tapped me on my shoulder, I nearly jumped out of my skin because I thought it was a teacher. But when I saw his headband and wristbands and new trainers, I realized it wasn't. Jack said that if I couldn't taste very much of my chewing gum anymore, then I had probably got all of the turbo powers out. Then he said if I didn't spit my chewing gum out really fast and run into school, I would get into trouble. So I did. I spat my chewing gum out and ran into school. On the way into class, Jack asked me if my legs had begun to feel any faster after chewing his new sports chewing gum. When I said I could definitely feel turbo powers in my legs, he said that by the time sports day started, I would probably be getting turbo feelings all the way through my body. And he was right. Chapter 18. When I ran out onto the field with my class, I felt like I could win any race in the world. When I sat down beside the running track, I especially made sure that my legs stay uncrossed so that the super turbo powers could keep flowing. There were rows and rows of parents sitting on the other side of the running track. At first, I thought my mom might have gone home, but then I saw her sitting right at the very top by the finish line. As soon as I saw her, I gave her a big wave. As soon as she saw me back, she gave me a wave and a big thumbs up too. At first, when I saw her do her big thumbs up, I thought she was wishing me good luck. But when she moved to one side, I realized what she was really saying. Gabby had come to watch me run my race, too, on her crutches. When I saw Gabby standing beside Mom on her crutches, my chewing gum turbo powers went right down into my toes and right up into my hair. I couldn't believe that my best friend would come all the way to school just to watch me run my sports day race on her actual crutches. If I was determined to win my race for Gabby before, I was even more determined now. When Mrs. Peters started giving eggs and spoons to everyone who was going to be in my race, I decided to start warming up straight away. I stood up and wriggled my legs. I touched my toes. I put my egg on my spoon. I emptied my mind. I totally focused. Trouble is, then I saw Lottie and Dottie warming up too. The trouble with seeing Lottie and Dottie warming up is it made my eyeballs nearly fall out. Because do you know what Lottie and Dottie were doing for their warm-up? They were doing keeply uppies with eggs and spoons. They were throwing and catching, spinning and catching, juggling and catching, even doing star jumps and catching. Lottie and Dottie could do things with eggs and spoons that even a chicken couldn't do. As soon as I saw Lottie and Dottie doing keeply uppies, I started to get a bit nervous. As soon as I started to get a bit nervous, I started to get a bit worried. As soon as I started to get a bit worried, I started to get funny feelings in my tummy. As soon as I got funny feelings in my tummy, I started to get funny feelings in my head. What if my new sports chewing gum super turbo powers weren't super turbo enough? What if they ran out halfway through the race? What if my laces came undone again? What if my egg wouldn't stay on my spoon? Mrs. Peters, I shouted, please may I go to the loo? So that's the end of this channel. I hope you enjoyed my readings of it. And if you did, please click many likes and subscribe Reading Club. So I'll come back later with the new and improved channel. Bye everybody!